Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you, and today I'm going to be taking a look at the Lian Li PC Z60 chassis. And for many of you out there, you may kind of know about Lian Li's. Pretty much, well, every case that they produce is all aluminium. I know many of you always take the mickey out of my pronunciation of that word, but anyway, all aluminium. And they're very well known for the fact that their chassis do kind of, they don't necessarily, they are slightly more expensive because they're obviously all made out of alu, but they're also kind of the higher segment of the market price wise and everything, but it's because there's a fair bit of quality there, and the Z60 is no different. Now what I'm going to do is bring you in for a good look round the case, and then I'll discuss my thoughts of the features and certain parts of the case as we go along. But stay tuned, because there's a lot of things that I really do need to cover with this one, and I've got a funny feeling that the conclusion might be slightly lengthy as well. But yeah, if you are seriously thinking about buying this case, I would suggest that you get comfortable and you stay tuned. Right then peeps, we will start at the top and at the front, and you can see here that we've got an eSATA port there, a single USB 2 port. There's a pair of USB 3s, you've got headphone and microphone jack, and then you've got your power and reset button. You can also see here that you've got your 3 optical drive bays there. But if I zoom you out a bit and move the camera slightly downwards, you can see at the front of the case that this is just plain aluminium. There's no mesh or anything there. There is a small section of mesh down at this front section, kind of a little bit slanted, but for the front of the case there's really not a lot of mesh there for airflow or anything, but I'll explain this to you a little bit later on. If we scroll up, you can see that there's a mesh panel in the roof there, and the case does come with a 140mm fan fitted, and that's orientated as an exhaust. Right then peeps, moving on to the side, this is what I would call the back panel side, because the motherboard tray is on this side of the case. Anyway, you can see that there's a meshed area here, and the reason for that is the case is actually a cross flow design. Now I'm just going to pop the back panel off, because we can cover a few bits while we're here. You can see that there are two 120mm fans here, and they are blowing across the hard drive cage, which I'll get to when I get to the other side, but I wanted to talk to you about this first. Basically, they are dust filtered, and they are drawing air in from, like I said, like the back of the case and pushing it out towards the other side of the case. Dust filters there, great, brilliant. There's a fair bit of room behind the case for cable management. There's 8mm there, so you'll be able to get your thickest 24-pin cable through fine. You can see here that we've got ours clipped up even over the 8-pin cable, and the door closes perfectly fine. Now it's got these rather funky tabs that you can use to locate your cables on. Now basically we've not used any cable ties or anything with this. We've just used this cabling rail, and to be perfectly honest with you, it is actually really, really good. I was a little bit worried with this when I first looked at it, but these clips are really very good, and you will be able to make a really tidy system with it. But anyway, what I'm going to do is we're going to whiz the case around now and have a look at the other side. So we've moved on to the other side. You can see this mesh section here that I said about, and that's where the hard drive air is going to be directed towards to be exhausted. Other than that, you've got a really smooth, plain brushed black aluminium side panel, as you'd kind of expect with a Lian Li. At the back, just here, there is a tab that you can put a padlock on for security. And as with all Lian Lis, it literally is just a slide and pull door. Works really well. The case, even though it's Ali, it does feel very sturdy and obviously light because it is aluminium. Now we move on to the insides, and like I said, you can see the hard drive area here. There's room for 6 hard drives. And they are all hot swap as well, which I will show you quickly. Just take you off the camera, off the tripod rather. And you can see the hot swap there. One thing to notice is the cutouts to aid airflow, which is a really nice touch. And also when we've got a hard drive in at the top for testing, you can see that there's airflow above, and also there will be a large section of airflow available below as well. If we look ever so carefully, you can see that meshed area just here. Now the front does pull off to expose the hard drives. What I'm going to do is pop you back on the tripod and just show you that quickly now. So then guys, a quick look at the front. The front is easily removable. You can just pull it off. It's got the usual kind of Lian Li clips that you just push and lock into place. It's brilliant. They've been using them for years, but it's because they work really well. And there's the meshed area I spoke at the front of the case. Nice and subtle, out the way, keeps the whole front of it looking really sleek. Now, as you can see, that's now exposed the hard drives, which are all hot swappable. There is a spot here for a 2.5 inch solid state drive, although when you use a solid state drive, you can't really use the hot swap because it's misaligned then. But you can get at all the hard drives from the front. Also, you can lock this, I will get my words out. You can lock the mechanism because there's a couple of thumb screws here, and you basically just undo these two thumb screws and you can lock this, so basically it can't slide up and down. So essentially, if the lock's in place, you won't be able to remove the hard drives. This is kind of a hint at the fact that this is aimed more at the kind of professional segment of the market. The fact that you're going to be wanting to lock your hard drives up, the fact the hard drives are hot swappable, and the like. But it is a really, really nice touch to be able to, rather than just lock the whole case up, you can lock the hard drives as well. So obviously if you lock the side of the case, that's not going to stop people popping the front off. So this is just a small kind of touch, but it's one that I welcome quite a lot. And if I'm just going to remove this. I've done these up a bit too tight last time. I'm just going to slide these off slightly and just show you that even though where we've got it locked in place, there is no way of getting it undone, and that's it. So it's all locked up, it is all safe, there's no way of getting those hard drives out. When you do fit the hard drives, there are just two plastic rails that you put on with hard drive dampers, and it just slides into place. So this is, I think, is a really, really nice security touch for this chassis. Right then peeps, so a good look at the inside. You can see that we've got the Noctua NHD 14 fitted, and the fact that we've got the GTX 590 fitted, should you just for a size, so you can get a good size up. One thing it is worth noting is with the 590, it is difficult to locate the Molex on the hot swap. So if you are going to be thinking about using this with a larger graphics card, you may have problems with power in the hot swaps. We put the 590 in to show you this, but if you put a 6990 in, you actually can't use these top at all because you can't even get the SATA cable on. It's all far too close. So I would suggest just using smaller graphics cards in it. This is kind of another kind of lean towards the fact that it may be just aimed at the professional area of the market. Although that you can get nice large heat sinks in, but that's mainly because of the 120mm exhaust. There are two water cooling grommets at the back of the case, and the case is equipped with 8 PCI slots. If I move it round slightly, I can show you that it's all the PCI slots at the back are all on this easily removable hot swap. Well, I say hot swap, like a toolless mechanism. Apart from the last one at the bottom, which is probably more aimed at if you're running extra graphics cards or putting your USB 3 out if you need to pop it out the back. Again, I don't really see many people are going to be using this with a multi-graphics card solution. Definitely not multiple long graphics card solutions anyway. Moving back round with a squeaky desk, even the power supply can be used with the toolless. It is quite stiff to get it on and off, but you can literally clip your power supply into place and you don't even have to use screws at the back, which is also a really nice feature. Now, this is something that I did want to kind of bring up because it's something I found a little bit confusing. This area of the case where the mesh is, if I put the side panel on just to show you, this area of mesh is the only intake point for the main part of the chassis. So your fan at the top and at the back and your CPU fan are all going to be getting your air from the front of the case here. But there are fans on this side blowing across. Now, I know your hard drives aren't necessarily going to be pumping out an immense amount of heat, but the air is going to be coming across the hard drives, and then because of the airflow in the main part of the case, it's then going to be pulling the air up inside as well. So it's kind of a bit of a confused airflow pattern because it's going to be coming in across the front of the case and then going up inside, as well as pulling a little bit of air in from this area as well. So there's no kind of direct flow. If this was just like a mesh panel and the fans were here blowing out over the case, it'd make a little bit more sense because you'd have all the air coming in one side, going out the other side and coming out the top. So it is a little bit confusing. Now, I have tested it and I've tried it with the fans going a different way, and I actually found, quite surprisingly, this is the way that the case is designed out the box, but if you reverse the flow so that the back and the top are actually an intake, you get better temperatures from your components and just leave this area as a dedicated exhaust, and then the other fans on the other side are all kind of pushing this way as well. But it's not designed that way out the box, and I find it a little bit confusing. I'm going to cover that area a little bit more in the conclusion though. But otherwise the case is absolutely bomb-proof, Lian Li quality. We fitted the power supply this way round just because it's the way we do it, but there are slots in the bottom so that you can have it intaking clean cold air, but there's also a dust filter down there as well to be able to dust filter the intake for the power supply. And as far as cable routing is concerned, it's really just down the side of the motherboard tray and a tiny little cutout here as far as where you can put it, but it's fairly open and it looks really nice. It does the job. It's got the build quality, it's got the Lian Li bling to it, but yeah, I think it's really time now, because we've covered most of the features. I think it's time now we need to crack on with the conclusion. Right then guys, moving swiftly on to the conclusion, I'm going to let you know the award and then I'm going to explain why, because there is a fair bit of explanation I think I need to be doing to get everything across. The award I'm going to give it is the Bronze Award. Now, I'd say that's, from my point of view, that's pretty much, it's a fairly generous to have even given it a bronze, basically. One of the reasons would be, from my point of view, is the price. It's £179.99 in the UK, so £180 all but a penny for a mid-tower is just way up there, and I mean way up there. Even by Lian Li's prices, that's expensive. Now, I'm fully aware of the fact that with the hot swap, it is going to add price to it, and fair enough. It's a very good design. It's laid out quite well, but this is one of my biggest gripes with it, is the fact that you intake from one side, and so the intake for the hard drives treats this as an exhaust, but then the main part of the chassis treats this as an intake. So the main part of the case is taking the air from the hard drive. So basically it goes, the airflow is like an S pattern, comes from one side in the other side and then gets pulled up. It seems a bit confused to me, to be perfectly honest with you, almost to the point where it would probably have been a better idea to have had the fans that are on the other side of the case on this side. But maybe, you know, the whole point with Lian Li was the fact that they wanted the hard drives to not only have the air pushed across it but then pulled back as well. Hard drives did stay very cool, but I've never really honestly seen the fact that hard drives that often need actively cooling, to be perfectly honest with you. And I've certainly never seen any longevity benefits from it, as in like the hard drives last any longer, whether they're running at 40 degrees or 50 degrees. And in my testing, I did also flip the basically the exhaust round to become an intake, so all of the air was getting passed out of this side of the case, and the CPU temperatures dropped by 8 degrees, and the graphics card was running a whole 12 degrees cooler on idle. But one of the things I will try and say is that with the high price, the fact that the hard drive's hot swappable, it's all lockable, there is no, I really wouldn't say this was a case for a gaming case or anything like that. I'd say this case has been aimed specifically at workstations, maybe small home servers, even small office servers when we kind of go into that kind of way, but definitely workstations. It would be good for people that need an immense amount of storage. So maybe people working with CAD or stuff like that. I really don't see this being used by people as like a gaming case or anything like that, which is one of the reasons why I don't see that the graphics cards are really going to be that much of a problem. I certainly don't think people that are going to be running any immensely high-end professional graphics cards for like 3D and CAD work and anything like that will be using a case like this anyway. So I don't really see any problems there. Or if they did use it, they could put the hard drives down further, lower, because I'm pretty sure if they've got all that kit, then they're going to be using you know, servers and stuff to store their and back up their data anyway. So it is with the right use, it is a very good case, even though the airflow is kind of confused. But it's definitely not something that I would recommend for a game or anything like that. And I think this is an area that hasn't really been very well covered by other reviews that have gone live previously, because they completely skipped past the fact that it's not really, the airflow layout is very confused and doesn't really work that way unless you kind of start to switch things around. And it's also definitely not something that I would be recommending for the gamer generation or the gamers out there either. It's very, very much, in my eyes, something that's aimed specifically at the professionals out there. So, to recap, if you're looking for a gamer case and you've watched this review because of that, I really wouldn't say it's this. If you're looking for this as the basis for a home server or maybe a professional workstation or something like that, I would say this could be the right case for you. But what I would say is, if you are looking for this as a workstation stroke server that you're going to be leaving on all the time, rotate the fans in the top and in the back. I would also fit a dust filter on the top and a dust filter in the back, and then I think you'll be well away, because if you make those few tweaks, it's very good. But no matter what you do, that £180 price tag, even with the hot swap, is going to sting. But the hard drives did perform. You know, the temperatures of hard drives were great with those two fans blowing over them. Like I said, there was a good 10 degrees drop there with those compared to not having the fans on at all. Or did I say that? If I didn't, then if you turn the fans off on the other side, hard drives go up about 10 degrees when under load. So it did work very, very well. So, bronze award, but only if it's used for the right people. And even when it is used by the right people, the reason why it's bronze and not any higher is just because I do think that price stings a bit. I think this should have been a significant amount cheaper for the size of the case, and especially with, I don't see the hot swap really adds enough to kind of add that, you know, that high price to it. But I'm going to leave you with that now, guys, and see what you all think. And for now, at least, this is Tiny Tom Logan with another, I was going to say another award for you, but another video for you. Out.